Hi, welcome to God Stories. And this week I wanted to share with you guys um, the roles that pets play in our lives. And I see through being a house call veterinarian a lot of different roles that they play. And this last week, I just had a couple, 3, 4, 5 appointments that really stood out, that the role of how important pets are. I've got one of them was an adult with a disability, and this is his first dog, and he's doing great with her. And sometimes when you have disabilities, unconditional love is a little harder to find, and I'm really excited that he has this. I've also had two euthanasias this week, and always at a euthanasia, you know the role that a pet plays in a family and how important the pet has been to them. And we start reminiscing about, different times that they have been troublesome and different times that they have been a lifesaver. And then I've had a house call of someone with a chronic illness, and this pet is constantly by their side, and I hear that story a lot. I've also had a client that had recently lost a loved one, and this pet has been a source of love and comfort for them, and I think we see that a lot. I've had a lot of dogs in my lifetime, and of course I love them all, but sometimes you have that really special bond with a pet. And I have a giant picture here I took off my wall to show you of Bentley. Bentley came into my life when I was married, and I was a paralegal at the time, and I had not gone to vet school. So we were young married, and Bentley was with me when I went to veterinary school, through the many long hours of studying all night. And he's, he might have been sleeping, but he was there with me. He's been with me through the loss of some loved ones, and he made it back home after vet school, and he died when Ivy was 1. So that's been 16 years ago. But this dog, y'all, I loved him so much. And I love all my dogs, but you know what I mean. You've got that one dog you really connect with. So I know you guys want to see a picture of Bentley and how adorable he is. And like I said, I took this off my wall, so it's giant. But let me just show them to you. And I'm in this picture too because I had professional pictures made with him because that's how much I love this dog. So here's Bentley. And that's a young me. Isn't he the cutest? So Bentley, this is another reason that this is something I believe pretty strongly. I don't like it when I hear people say, if you can't afford a pet, you shouldn't get one. I can name off a lot of situations in which Bentley is one example. I had, pretty good income when I got Bentley. Things were going well. I worked, Wayne worked, double income. We could definitely afford anything he needed. And then I decided to go to veterinary school, and we became pretty poor. I could not afford everything that he once had, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't have him. I mean, I really needed him, especially through that time of veterinary school. That's it's a pretty tough time. I kind of look back on it now. It's like, that wasn't that bad, but I remember when I was in it, it was pretty rough. I really needed him. And just because my income fell doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to have him. And then we never did really get back, with a lot of money before he passed away. But he had all the love he needed, and he did have care. But it was really difficult for me to sometimes afford it, especially the time he ate a boot and it plugged his intestines. He had an intestinal blockage. I was in vet school at the time, but we still have to pay for treatment. It was $700, and that might as well been $1,000,000, which I paid off before I graduated. You don't get your diploma if you don't pay your bills. So I got that. But things like that happened, and that's something that happens a lot in life. I've seen people that get a diagnosis of cancer. They've been able to take care of their dog, and now they can't afford to take care of their dog. And that's part of the new nonprofit. I think y'all have probably seen some about Keeper's Mission. A homeless person, man, that pet is probably of the highest value to them. That unconditional love. And just think about that pet that's with that homeless person. Think about the quality of life that pet has being with their person all the time versus maybe someone who has plenty of money for medical care and heart guard, but they're gone a lot. They're working on the road, or, I mean, just because you have money for medical care doesn't always mean that the pet, because you don't have money, I don't remember which way I said that, but if you don't have money for medical care, that pet is still hugely important. So part of the reason we formed the Keeper's Missions is to help people that are in that situation. One situation is if somebody gets cancer. Well, if you guys have experienced that, they pretty much lose their income and they don't have the means to take care of their pets. So we're going to continue to take care of those pets through this nonprofit for people that have come into problems like this. And also we're going to help the homeless population take care of their pets. So, well, you know, like for example, when Wayne's mom, Marie, when she was working in a factory at Plastec in Kenton, she was working there. She got a diagnosis of cancer, and then through the treatment, she had her lung removed, and she couldn't go back to work. She went from being a person who had plenty of money to take care of everything to a person who is now unable to work, and nobody is going to insure a person with a cancer diagnosis that's had a lung removed. She went from being fine to being, we were having fundraisers to pay for her cancer treatment. Like, it was crazy. So that happens all the time, and that's something I'm really excited about, this new nonprofit, that we should have the papers are filed, should have it back pretty soon, but we're going to be able to help pets, because the role that pets play in people's lives it's a really big deal. There's probably still people that don't get it, but it's a really big deal. And I just wanted you to know my heart on that pets are important to all walks of life, whether you're homeless or whether you're wealthy or whatever it is. The pet doesn't care. They just love you unconditionally. And who doesn't need that? We all need that. So I just wanted to share my heart with you on that, and have a chance to show you about the dog that just stole my heart and changed my life. And I've loved every dog before and since then, but Bentley was really special to me. May have been the time in my life that I had him, but when you have one that really loves you, you tend to really love them back. So I just wanted to share this with you, and if you have comments, please leave them. If you want to comment on one of your pets and what they've meant to you, we would love to hear that story. I love hearing about how pets have changed people's lives. So I want to thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing your comments.